Watch this. It's 305. Gotta do this with one hand. 65. See, I'm a little tired too. I just got done doing curls with this. Doing the cardio here. Numbers. That's a hard level. Stamina, strength training. That's my legs. It's hard. 7.2 on the level screen here. It's hard. So I was watching the NCAA. I didn't know this, but a plane had crashed.
Cowboys game is about more than just basketball for OSU fans. A memorial there helps everyone remember the victims of that devastating plane crash. Photojournalist Samantha Tatelman talks to a family member on this, the 15th anniversary.
Fear the deer. Okay, we're in Gas City, Indiana, and I just did a pretty hard stamina strength workout. What's this idiot doing on the side of me? Anyway, today's a very nice day, and as soon as I get off work,
for 29 miles,
I'm going to show you guys around the airport, Detroit Metro Airport, and then we're going to look at the grave or the crash site of flight Northwest Flight 255. And man, I remember that. That was very awful that night. It was on the news everywhere where, fortunately, the plane was only 200 feet, maybe 500 feet from airport property. And doing this from memory, I believe there was some type of noise coordinates. I'm not a pilot, so I don't know anything too much about flying planes, but something to do with the pilots are too much in a hurry, so they didn't do procedures to some type of flap or something, and it landed to everyone dying on that plane except for one survivor, which, man, time flies. I saw that on the 20th anniversary of a woman. The only sole survivor. She was a little girl. They believed that the parents smothered her with their own bodies to protect her. And I do know a woman that was part of that rescue situation where that plane hit the bridge, and she showed me pictures and videos and stuff of it. Now, of course, back in that day, there was no cell phones or smartphones, so it was old school. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to attempt to get in contact with her again and ask her to send me some of those pictures or videos. That night was a very horrific scene of Flight 255 Northwest. There was actually a Phoenix Suns NBA player on that flight that was killed. I remember seeing it all over the news. It was just devastating. So, what most people may not understand is there's times you can break the law, but you better have a good reason. I would have said screw the noise ordinance law, and I would have just broken it. It means, life and death. But take a look here at Gas City, Indiana. Pretty nice little town. I wouldn't mind living down here. Actually, I am thinking about retiring down here, maybe a little bit down south. Anyway, wow, I mean, that was just an awful scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video and we'll move on to Detroit Airport. Just got off work and gonna get ready to. This is beautiful. I love this town. Look at that. Piss. Yeah. Well, today is Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm on the way to the airport to Flight 255. You can see it's like a kind of gloomy day out. There's snow on the ground. So why am I doing this now instead of August? Is because I don't want a bunch of people around me when I'm doing this. Okay, as you see, we're not too far from the memorial. There's the airport right there. That's kind of like a little hump there. Oh. Okay, we're right behind the airport. It's not too far from here, the crash site.
Guys, I was with Dan. Kish actually heard a moaning. After a few minutes, we saw a chair that was laying up.
I remember feeling angry and survivor's guilt. Why?
The images are still horrifying. 30 years ago today, Northwest Flight 255 took off from Metro Airport. Then, moments later, it crashed near I-94 and Middle Belt. 156 people died that fateful night. Steve Garagiola is live this evening. And Steve, for so many Metro Detroiters, the memories of this just come rushing back like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, that is so true. I was actually a sports reporter here in Detroit back in 1987, so I did not have to report on this tragedy. But for any of us who lived in this community then, it was impossible to remain unaffected. And it's hard to believe 30 years later, but the grief is still fresh for many people. At 8:46 p.m., Flight 255 crashed onto Middle Belt Road immediately after takeoff, the deadliest air disaster ever in Michigan.
The whole fuselage was glowing, and then there was a bang, and it just came down, and just this big wall of fire.
The investigation quickly pointed to pilot error. They had failed to deploy the plane's flaps for takeoff, giving the jet no chance. 156 people died. 2 motorists driving on Middle Belt Road, 6 crew members, and 148 of the 149 passengers.
Okay, we have an approximately, looks like a 4-year-old little girl was found alive in the wreckage.
Cecilia Sheehan survived. Her brother, mother, and father all killed. She became known to the world as the Miracle Baby.
I just want to tell the world how happy I am that we have her, because we didn't think we had her, and now suddenly we found out that we do, and it was a miracle that we have, and I'm just expressing my thoughts on a miracle that the good Lord had given us.
Cecilia has spoken publicly about the crash only once, 5 years ago, as part of a documentary project of the world's 14 known air crash soul survivors.
Soul Survivor Project is more about a group, and that's why I'm willing to get involved and be part of something bigger.
Oh, it looks like the pigeon's lighting up too. We got solar on it. There you go. Look at that. And you can see the airport's only about maybe 1,000 feet away. You could tell this bridge is pretty new versus the other one. Wow, there we go, Flight 255. And I remember I saw this all over the news when I was a kid. 25 years now. And it's nice they built this memorial. So as you can see, fortunately there was a Phoenix Sun Center that died in this, but like Kobe Bryant, I tell people they're all equal. That's a lot of names, and there's only one sole survivor. So it says 156 loved ones who perished on August 16, 1987, 8:46 p.m. Wow, I actually thought it happened in the morning. When Northwest Airlines, who's now bought out by Delta, Flight 255 crashed seconds after takeoff from the Metropolitan Airport of Detroit. And their spirits that's going to be forgiven. So it's a pretty nasty scene that night. As I said, it's not too far from the airport. Fortunately, there's a lot of names on there. I believe it's like 127. I might have to look, but fortunately, if I remember, the pilot was in a hurry and did do skip some procedures because of noise ordinance and crashed the plane. So it's pretty bad. That's what the memorial looks like. They get a salute. Alrighty. So we're walking back I want to show you the difference between the bridges. So, see, that's the one that supposedly that it did hit. You see, it's pretty much brand new. Okay, there's Delta, formerly Northwest, and here's the airport. I'm gonna ride right through it. That's where they fixed the planes and that. So I haven't been down here in 12, maybe 15 years. When I left out of here on my honeymoon to Las Vegas. What people may not know is I used to work here, so I got a lot of hookups here per se. So we're gonna go ahead and take a peek. You can see off to the right, that's the Delta thing where they fix planes. The blue deck here. Oh, it looks like they're building more. I don't know if they're, it looks like a brand new terminal they're putting up. That used to be the Berry. Yep, it's brand new. So the brand new terminal, they got a new walkway. So the blue deck's been there. That used to be the Smith terminal. They tore it down, so wow, that looks a lot better. And this is, I guess you could call it the brand new airport. It was built in 2002. You can see the blue deck. Go back around here. See the plane taking off. Let's do this again. Okay, and that's what the airport looks like. I didn't go through it because it gets busy, but you can see how it's pretty big. Right there. And there's a lot of foreigners and idiots that drive reckless around there, so that's why I went on the outskirts. I'm behind it right now. So I'll put up some clips of it. It tells you the size right there. I got a computer here. As I stated, 25 years ago, they claimed that the pilots were in a hurry, failed to deploy the flap because of noise ordnance. Here's the Wikipedia, and this is the first time I looked at this in a long time. It was a McDonnell Douglas MD-82 that took off August 16, 1987 at 8:46 p.m. It resulted in the deaths of 6 crew members, 148 total passengers, 1 survived, 2 people on the ground. 1 survivor, which was in my video, a blonde-haired woman, is a 4-year-old girl. It is the second deadliest aviation accident at the time in the United States. It is the only one that had 1 survivor. Now, according to sources down here, they noticed with witnesses that the takeoff was a lot longer than usual and it was rolling on its side. According to their investigation in a black box, there was some type of warning that takes off. Usually it's because of some type of electrical failure, and what it states in here is just basically going over this quickly, that the circuit breaker could have been damaged or the pilots could have pulled it out, and for some reason there wasn't enough electrical current to open up the flaps. They're not exactly sure for the takeoff, and that's what contributed to the takeoff warning system. The reason of the electrical power could not be determined. And as you can see, that's the memorial I visited. There's a second one at the GM Proving Grounds in Milford, Michigan. And they got one more in downtown Phoenix. 3 of them.